So, Mario Kart. You know, the mascot-focused racing game that got its start all the way back on the Super Nintendo when it was originally known as Super Mario Kart. This game is known for its bullshit controls, bullshit CPUs, and, well, this game is just plain bullshit. Though this game had lots of issues with the mechanics and how you can only see half the damn screen, it laid the foundation for what would eventually become series staples in later entries. When it finally shifted into full-blown 3D, it had its name officially changed to just Mario Kart. The Mario Kart series became a widely successful racing/party game franchise that always had a new one whenever Nintendo came out with a new system. Nintendo 64, Game Boy Advance, GameCube, DS, Nintendo Wii, 3DS, and finally, the Wii U, with our latest title being known as Mario Kart 8. This game was supposed to be one of the Wii U's flagship games that would be up there with Smash 4. People would buy a Wii U from Mario Kart, and they did. This game sold a whopping 8 million units on this dead console. More than half the people that owned a Wii U had this game, but the fact it was released on such a failure of a console will be one of the biggest reasons Mario Kart 8 has lasted for over 10 years. We all know Mario Kart 8 got a souped up version made specifically for the Switch, and I'll get to that very soon. But first I want to talk about the original version of this game for a little bit. Mario Kart 8 released in the year 2014. All was right in the world. I remember 10 years ago when I was in a Wendy's parking lot, and my father told me I was getting the all-new brand new Mario Kart game for the Wii U. I was so excited that when I got home, I played it for hours. Me being a little kid though, I didn't get very far. Doesn't matter though, as long as it was fun. I got my copy right here. Sorry, I meant right here. My original disc doesn't work anymore, sadly, so I bit the bullet and bought myself a brand new one because I wanted to play Mario Kart 8 on the Wii U. Feels weird saying that, but sometimes my little dust collector here needs some use. The original release of this game is definitely the one that needs the most criticism. Yes, the entire base game is here, but that doesn't mean it's all that good. The new tracks, hell, even the retro tracks were just at an unbelievable level of quality that was almost unheard of in Mario Kart. In past games, they'd make it almost certain you felt like you could tell it was a retro track, but here, the only thing that really makes you feel like it is the small piece of text telling you the console it's from. They went above and beyond for tracks like Donut Plains 3 and Mario Circuit, because they designed these courses with the anti-gravity gimmick in mind. It definitely wasn't needed, but the fact they went through all of that effort is astonishing, and I feel so spoiled because of it. Later on in the game's life cycle, it got 2 forms of paid content that added new characters and tracks to the game, bringing the total track list up to 48. I never actually got to play them on the Wii U, but who needs it? The paid content here came with 16 brand new tracks. They're all so amazing, and I really love the Animal Crossing and the Legend of Zelda tracks, especially the F-Zero tracks that they added for some reason. I wasn't expecting it, but they're here and I love it. Then we have the orchestrated amazing music that is so good to listen to while playing. All the amount of unlockable content in this game, like car parts and tracks, was such an amazing thing to experience a literal decade ago. Sadly, however, this is where the compliments stop with this version. Now, what are the bad things here? Well, the roster is abysmal, and there is no possible excuse anyone can give for why a character roster for a Mario racing game should be this terrible. The amount of baby characters taking up slots here is terrible. Not to mention Metal Mario and fucking Pink Gold Peach. If you're gonna waste a character slot, at least make it good. What else is in here that's giving me a real eyesore? Maybe it's the fact that the Koopalings are all separate characters. Not sure why they couldn't go the Smash Brothers way and make them alternate costumes for Bowser Jr. They even have separate costumes for Yoshi and Shy Guy. Why couldn't they just do it with Bowser Jr.? Wanna know what the worst part is? All these Koopalings are in here, but Bowser Jr. isn't. This son of a bitch was forbidden from being in the game, I guess. In a Mario Kart game, it usually gives you the option to pick between 50, 100, and 150cc. With an update later down the line, 200cc mode was added to the game, and you'll never guess what I'm about to say. 200cc controlled like complete ass and just wasn't very fun for anyone to play. The speed itself isn't for everyone, but it's my personal preferred speed to play the game on, so the fact it was even worse than the original is just mind-blowing to me. I had such a hard time controlling the car here, and it was really frustrating. This game feels slightly rushed if you ask me. Now let us discuss the definition of we need this game out by a certain time. If you look into a dictionary, you'll see Mario Kart 8 on the first page. We need to sit here for like a minute or something and discuss the battle mode. In older Mario Kart games, the battle mode had tons of modes that allowed you to have fun with your friends. Shine Thief, Shine Runners, Bob on Blast, all these different kinds of modes that give you something to do. Now over on Mario Kart 8, we again have disappointment. Battle mode has only one game mode in this game, and it is just fucking balloon battle. That's, you know, fine. But we don't even get new arenas or anything. I'm pretty sure the development of battle mode was a complete afterthought. You had to play on a few of the pre-existing tracks that are just way too fucking big for a simple mode like this. Ah yes. I love driving around in a fucking figure 8 looking for the CPUs. Around 3 years after Mario Kart 8's release and a collaboration with Mercedes, we got a trailer in 2017 for an enhanced port of this hit game for Nintendo's newest console at the time. Instead of making a new Mario Kart like they did with every other console, they instead opted to release this version on their fancy new platform that immediately had way more mass appeal to a lot of people than that of the Wii U. The Wii U, as we all know, was a massive failure, so it was easier to fix Mario Kart 8 instead of making a brand new one. It's an interesting way to increase the longevity of an already aging game, and it clearly worked out in their favor. This game's main advertising was solely focused on a singular mode here. This mode is what I believe is one of the sole reasons Mario Kart 8 has lasted as long as it has. The fact they fixed the battle mode is the focal point here. They also did some miscellaneous fixes and packaged all the DLC, but we'll get to that stuff soon. We also have a whole ass extra DLC to talk about afterwards.
Woohoo! Here we go!
Whoa, what the fuck? Did I 100% this version or something? No, I couldn't have. I only have... Huh? That's considerably less than I thought. It's, you know, normal to have over 100 plus hours on a racing game you play by yourself. So yeah, this is just Mario Kart 8. All the tracks are here, and the Mercedes GLA as well. Something I really thought was an interesting change to this version of the game was the reintroduction of double item boxes, last seen in Mario Kart Double Dash. In the original game, you could only get one item at a time, and since the coin was a prominent item that you'd often get, you had to make a decision on whether it was safer to just keep that coin to increase your top speed if you get hit, or get rid of it and go full-on gambler mode. In Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, however, you don't need to worry about this issue at all, because you can just hold 2 items at a time. If you get a coin, well, who cares? Just get rid of it and go for another item. I can see why they'd make a change like this. It allows for more items to be on the tracks at the time, which makes it more chaotic and fun. But the original system I felt had a little bit more strategy to it. There would be more racing rather than people just blatantly throwing fucking everything they can get at once. In Mario Kart 8 Deluxe's case, you can just purposely bully a player because you have a load of red shells. Since we're on the topic of racing, 200cc has been tweaked in this game, and it feels so much better to play. It's still ridiculously fast and requires you to, you know, constantly hold the B button. Fuck. My hand. But this is my preferred way to enjoy my time with this game. I do play on the slower speeds when playing with friends because they aren't interested in playing the game the correct way. You can like playing at these other speeds, but this will always be the correct choice for me. Okay. So the character roster. We have a few new characters here. Don't mind these other guys. They don't exist right now. Bowser Jr. has finally been added. Seems like a no-brainer inclusion. Should have been in the original game since we already had the Toomers. Our other newcomers are Dry Bones, King Boo, and the Inklings. I didn't mention the Villagers and Link being added with the DLC. They are also in this game. I like the roster quite a lot more now that you have more choice instead of picking a piece of metal or a baby. Sadly, other Mario characters that people really wanted in this game were just absent. That's okay though, this roster is okay, but it's currently nothing groundbreaking. Stop looking at the other new characters. I didn't mention this before, but the 100% reward is Gold Medal Mario. You know, Gold Medal Mario from... That one was always my favorite Mario game. You also get a gold card, wheels, and a glider. Other than the character, I do like the golden car pieces as rewards. I would have liked something bigger, but this isn't terrible unless you absolutely despise Metal Mario. Alright, Battle Mode. The entire reason Nintendo didn't make a new game for the Switch generation. 7 years later, and this is still the last truly new Mario Kart. This was their magnum opus for Mario Kart 8. A true return to form for the mode. We have several new arenas here to play on, with 5 new and 3 returning. All of these new arenas look absolutely stunning and are so fun to play on. My personal favorite one being Sweet Sweet Kingdom. Now instead of just a singular mode, we actually got a couple here. Balloon Battle is back, but that's not all. We have Shine Thief, Bob-omb Blast, Coin Runners, and the new one, Renegade Roundup. Renegade Roundup is a pretty easy mode to understand. It's just cops and robbers. The cops have piranha plants to catch the criminals, and the criminals use items to outlast the cops as long as possible. Once you get caught, you'll be put in a cell awaiting the button to be pushed to set the criminals free. It's a pretty simple but fun mode, and is definitely my favorite one in the entire game. That was Battle Mode. It is leagues better in this game than it was in base Mario Kart 8. I've played Battle Mode in all the other games, and I can confidently say that this one is my favorite version overall. Sadly, there wasn't a map where you play on top of a Nintendo Switch, but the maps we did get are incredible. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe set a precedent for the series where they didn't necessarily need to make a new game if they didn't have to. The fact they just rather fix their old game and give it a new life is amazing. The overall package deal you get with this game is fantastic. All the DLCs included, new characters, tweaks to game mechanics. This is truly one of the best Mario Kart games of all time. But the fact that you're 10 years into Mario Kart 8 with no sign of a new game in the series in sight is just so weird. The Nintendo Switch will forever be known as the only Nintendo console without an original Mario Kart to call its own. Yes, all these changes are awesome and make it the definitive version of Mario Kart 8, but it's still just an enhanced port of a Wii U game that was released a bit too early. Mario Kart Tour actually released on the phones, but I and many others don't want to play a version of Mario Kart on the phone. That game doesn't feel like a truly generational leap forward for the franchise. It feels like a step backward so it could work on mobile devices. Eventually this game will be shut down, and Nintendo knew that. Let's take a trip back to the year 2022. Mario Kart 8 is in its 8th year. Everyone kept wondering when the next game was going to be released. So Nintendo did the unthinkable. That's right, they basically told us they're working on something, so told us over they're releasing 48 remastered tracks from across every Mario Kart game and putting them into Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. How much did they say this was? $24.99? $24.99? That's an absolute steal for this many tracks. Are you kidding? This was an insane reveal, and it's just another way for Nintendo to extend the lifespan of this old game. The Booster Course Pass was drip-fed to us in the form of waves, kinda like the Smash Ultimate Fighters Pass. The main issue with this DLC was the varying levels of quality. People were expecting Mario Kart 8 levels of detail on these when a lot of the first courses they added lacked that. These were clearly ports from Mario Kart Tour to save them some time, but because of this, these courses just kinda looked terrible. I still love playing them, but they don't have the same level of quality that a lot of people are used to. Since they were doing this though, most of the Mario Kart Tour tracks have been preserved in this game, so people can play them when that game eventually shuts down. I say most because we're missing one Tour track. So long, my friend. Later though, we began getting new tracks that weren't even in Tour yet. They began adding in new characters as well to expand the roster. You can finally look at the rest of the characters. They added Birdo, PD Piranha, Wiggler, Kamek, Diddy Kong, Funky Kong, and even Pauline. I guess they also added Peachhead if you really care about her. It's fucking pink gold Peach all over again. For some reason, down the line they added a new section to customize what items you want to see used in the game, as well as a music player. Yeah, I use my Switch as an MP3 player. So what? It really seemed like they began to take the Booster Course Pass seriously. The courses had a higher level of quality, a lot still not on the level of the base game, but they were looking really good. Tracks began to use more anti-gravity and felt like they weren't just porting them, but actually taking the time to make Mario Kart 8 versions of them. Tracks like 3DS Rainbow Road, Waluigi Stadium, Riverside Park, all just look absolutely incredible in this game. Some of the new tracks are some of the greatest tracks ever made. Yoshi's Island, Merry Mountain, and even Squeaky Clean Sprint. A track in a literal bathroom is amazing. Who would have thought this is what I actually needed? The final wave of this pass was just amazing. The addition of new Mii costumes, and the Final Cup having a fully Mario Kart 8-ified version of Bowser's Castle 3 from the SNES was just so cool. The track itself is rather simple, but all the twists and turns coupled with the anti-gravity sections make this one of the greatest Mario Kart 8 retro tracks for me. How can you beat that? Well, you make the final track in the game Wii Rainbow Road, of course. This might be the greatest retro track in the entire game. It just looks absolutely stunning. The music just feels so nostalgic for me, and I always come back to this game just to play it. It remains rather unchanged from the original, but that's okay. The track was already perfect. It didn't need to be changed at all. This DLC pack was finally complete. My life was complete. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe became the greatest, and therefore the biggest Mario Kart game to date. A whopping 96 courses to race through is a massive amount of tracks. I truly felt spoiled at this point. Despite the issues with the Booster Course Pass, the DLC was just incredible and made Mario Kart 8 last for even longer than it needed to. The bumpy ride in the beginning on the Wii U to the release of a more complete version on the Nintendo Switch. This game has gone through 10 whole years on the market without even faltering a single bit. The sales just keep going up. Nintendo continued to update and make this game even better as it went on, just to increase its life cycle. I've been here from the very beginning, and I can confidently say that this has become one of my favorite games of all time. It didn't need to be as big as it ended up becoming, but they did it because they could. The existence of both Mario Kart 8 and Mario Kart 8 Deluxe has had a huge impact on the trajectory this series will head in the future. Since the Nintendo Switch has decided to last so long, we might be seeing more Mario Kart games in the future go down the same path this one did. Each game might end up lasting 10 to 12 years before a new one is eventually released. But here's some food for thought. What do you think they will do with the next one? They've practically remastered every track in the series throughout these last few games. Will the next one be a complete reboot of the franchise? Who's to say? It might take a while, but I'm sure the next game is closer than we think. Take a break. Look back at how far you've come since the game originally released. Enjoy it. Bask in the nostalgia. Here's to another 10 years of Mario Kart 8. I would like to thank you for watching. I was sick during the time I was supposed to be making this video, which ended up requiring me to take a few days off and release the video a bit later. Mario Kart has always been a comfort series for me. I originally grew up with the games on the Nintendo DS and played many of the other games at friends' houses because I didn't own any of these other consoles in their primes. Luckily, since I'm a grown adult now, I can actually play them and make my child self's dream come true and play all the games he originally wanted while growing up. If you liked the video, then please like, comment, and subscribe as it helps me tremendously, and I will always be grateful for the support I get on these videos. I've got some games to play, so I'll see you all very soon.